Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, it's a pretty interesting one. It's a pretty interesting one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's get into it. So this all starts off like any other normal day, back when I was 16 years old. Now around this time, I was getting in a little bit of trouble. I can't lie. I wasn't the best kid, all right? I wasn't really doing my homework, wasn't really going to class all the time, and I may have snuck out here and there and gotten into some trouble, but I'm not gonna lie. Compared to some of my friends at that age, I wasn't that bad of a kid. I had friends that were on probation at like 15 years old. And today's story time is about one of those friends. So I had a friend back when I was 16 named Parker. Now, Parker was a close friend of mine. I met him because he lived like one street over in my neighborhood. We didn't go to the same school. We didn't know each other from school or anything. But every weekend, Parker would come to my house usually. And just through hanging out with him every weekend, we got really close. And he was definitely one of my best friends within like 3 months of hanging out with him, right? Now, Parker wasn't the best kid. My mom did not like him very much. She thought he was a very bad influence. And I'm not going to lie, he was. I can't tell you how many times I didn't want to do something because I was like afraid of like getting into trouble. And he'd be like, bro, we won't get in trouble. And then I would do it and we get in trouble. Obviously, it's still my fault for making the decision, but he was definitely not the greatest influence. But I didn't really give a shit because I liked hanging out with him back then. And, I never really got into that much trouble with him until one day in specific. So you remember when I said earlier that I had friends that were on probation at 15? Parker was one of those friends. Yeah, he was on probation at 15. Now, this story I'm about to tell doesn't take place when he was 15. At this point, we were both 16, but he got the probation at 15. And if you want to know what he did, he kept sneaking out of his house and running away for like days on end and not telling his parents. And they kept finding him with weed. And back then, weed was very illegal here still. It wasn't nearly as decriminalized as it is now here. So yeah, they caught him enough times with enough weed and they put him on probation for like 2 years. Now, here's the thing about that. So for the most part, not a lot changed in his life. He didn't have to do a whole lot besides one thing. One thing that he really didn't want to have to do, but this is what he had to do. He couldn't smoke weed or do any kind of drug because obviously they were drug testing him because he was on probation for weed. So they were drug testing him semi-frequently. And obviously if he failed a P test, he'd go to juvie or something or would have his probation probably extended. I don't know how it would work, but he couldn't smoke weed. That's all I know. And he hated that. I remember every time friends of ours would be smoking, he always wanted to join in. And I had to tell him dude, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. If you fail that fucking drug test, you're going to have a bad time. And I kind of had to be the good influence in his life, right? Well, one day, I'm 16 years old. I'm sitting in my room. I'm on my computer. And my phone starts ringing. And it's Parker. And I pick it up. And I was like, what's good, dude? He's like, yo, you up to anything right now? I'm in a pissed off mood. I want to go do something. And I was like, why are you in a pissed off mood, man? What's wrong? And he starts cussing out his parents over the phone. He's like, my mom's a fucking bitch. She won't let me do anything. She thinks I'm a fucking child and I'm not. She treats me like a fucking toddler. She doesn't trust me at all. And I was like, what happened, dude? And he's like, I'm trying to fucking go to this show with my friend tonight and I can't fucking go. And I'm just pissed off. And I was like, well, shit, man. What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know, man. Can I come over? And I was like, yeah, is she cool with it? He's like, I don't give a fuck what she's cool with. I'm coming over. I'm like, all right, man. So 10 minutes later, he's at my house, right? He pulls up on his bike. He comes in. His parents have no idea that he's there, which I didn't love the idea of. I was worried that his mom was going to show up freaking out that he ran away, but whatever, right? So he comes over and we're just kicking it in my room, doing a whole lot of nothing, right? And he's like, yo, can we go get Burger King? Because I live not too far from one. And I was like, sure, man, why not? So we went out, grabbed our bikes, and started riding to Burger King. Yeah, we get there, we eat, we hang out there for about an hour. And then we hit up a friend of ours that lives nearby as well and had him come meet us out there. And then after that, we just kind of rode our bikes around the town for an hour or so, just hanging out. And after we got tired of doing that, we found a bench kind of in a secluded area and just sat down for a little bit. And our friend, the one we invited out, not Parker, not the one on probation, he starts pulling out some weed. And he's like, yo, you guys want to smoke? And I was like, nah, I'm good, man. And then Parker goes, fuck yeah, I do. Now, I thought he was kidding, right? I didn't really think much of it. Thought he was joking. So this dude ends up packing the bowl. He takes a hit. And then I see him pass it to Parker. And Parker goes to light it. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, what? I was like, bro, you can't smoke. You're on probation. He's like, I don't give a fuck anymore, dude. I don't care. Let him lock me away. I don't give a shit. I was like, dude, I don't care what you think. I don't want my homie locked in juvie or getting in trouble. just fucking don't smoke, bro. Just don't. Shit's not worth it. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. And he just rips it, bro. Lights it and rips it. Takes a hit. Big ass hit. And I was fucking furious at him, dude. Like, I was so mad. Because, like, he just had one job. And he was so angry that he let his emotions get the best of him because he was pissed at his mom. And he took a rip of a bull. So, yeah, he rips this bull. And I look at him and I was like, dude, you're fucking stupid. And he's like, what? I'm like, bro, really? Like, is it worth it? And he's like, they're not going to catch me, bro. My drug test isn't for a while. I'll probably pass. It's one hit. And I was like, all right, man, whatever you say. So after that, our other friend just keeps smoking. I don't. Parker doesn't. And we're just sitting on this bench in this, like, kind of secluded area in this park. Not doing much, right? We're just kind of watching my homie smoke and we're talking. Well, not even like 10 minutes later, man, just our luck, I see 2 cop cars pull into the parking lot of the park that we're at. And me and all my friends look at each other. And immediately my homie puts the bowl away. And this cop that's in the parking lot sees us from a distance, and he pulls his cruiser right up to the bench we're at. He pulls right up. And he rolls his window down and he goes, what are you boys up to over here? And we're all just like chilling, hanging out, just sitting here enjoying the weather. And he's like, yeah, I smell some weed. Are you guys smoking? And I was like, nope, which wasn't a lie. I didn't smoke. And then Parker lied. Parker was like, no, I didn't smoke. And then our friend lied too. And he's like, no, I didn't smoke. And the cop goes, all right, are you sure? And we all just nod our head. And the cop literally was about to pull off. I remember he was like literally putting his car back in drive, like he was about to leave. But for some reason, Parker was like so fucking paranoid that this cop was about to like get out of the car and arrest us. He just takes off running. Parker gets up and just fucking darts, just runs. And me and my friend look at each other on the bench like, why the fuck would he do that? And the cop goes, hey, get back here. And he throws his car in drive and starts chasing after him. And I proceed to watch Parker run in between an alleyway of 2 buildings that like are nearby. He climbs up the fire escape onto the roof of one of these buildings. And then I watch the cop climb the fire escape after him to like get up there with him. Because the cop had him cornered. Like once the cop was up there, they were both on the roof. The only way to get down is by climbing back down that fire escape. And that's obviously not going to happen if the cop's guarding it. So Parker was fucked. So anyway, the cop gets up the fire escape and he's guarding it now. He's just standing there. Parker's standing up there. We can see them both on the roof. And the cop starts inching closer and closer to Parker. And he's like, come here. Like, I'm not going to hurt you. Come here. And Parker turns around and proceeds to start running full speed towards the edge of the roof. And I remember me and my friend looking at each other like, what the fuck is he doing? And I proceed to watch him jump off the roof, trying to fly through the air and land on this other roof that was like way too far away to jump. It was not that close. And it felt like it was in slow motion, dude. I watched Parker like soar through the air. And surprisingly, he made it to the roof, but not really. So he landed at an angle, right? Like he just barely got his feet on the other roof and he landed leaning backwards. Like not enough of his weight was towards the roof. It was more towards falling. And he fell backwards. And I watched him fall off of a fucking building, essentially doing a backflip through the air. And then he landed on a dumpster, both legs first, and like smashed down and then rolled off the dumpster and fell onto his back. And it looked like it hurt so fucking bad. And the sound it made when he hit that dumpster and then hit the ground, like, dude, I swear you could like hear his bones like snap. It was so awful. And I remember me and my friend ran over super fast and we were like, Parker, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's just on the ground, like just in a fucking like little ball essentially, just like yelling in pain, like just so much pain. And the cop got down off the fire escape of the other roof. He ran around and he's like, why would you do that? Like, why? And he called for an ambulance. And we're just kind of standing over Parker as he looked very, very hurt. And yeah, dude, I saw it like in his legs. His leg was swelling up. It didn't look good, man. He looked like he was hurt, really hurt. And yeah, he had to go to the hospital. They had to put him in an ambulance and drive him to the hospital. And they called his parents while they were on the way there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go with them to the hospital. I kind of wish they let us, but for some reason we couldn't. The cops just told us to go home, so we did. And I remember that whole like night pretty much for like the next 4 or 5 hours. I was just waiting for a call from Parker, like his parents or something. 'em. And finally, after like 5 or 6 hours, I got a text message from Parker's mom. And she was like, hey, And she said, hey, Austin, like, just want to give you an update on Parker. He needed emergency surgery. He's going to have a long way of recovery ahead of him. But the good news is, like, his spine isn't injured. His head's okay. He didn't whack his head. He's still, like, you know, conscious and functioning and can talk and stuff. But his legs are pretty messed up. And she was not kidding. He called me on FaceTime that next day and, like, showed me his legs. He, like, flipped the camera around. Yeah, didn't look good. Did not look good. And I remember asking him on the phone, I was like, Parker, why would you do that, bro? Like, why'd you just run away like that? The cop was about to leave. Like, what the hell, man? He's like, bro, I don't know. I was just so paranoid. And I thought, like, if the cop knew I smoked weed, I was going to, like, go right to jail. I don't know, man. I just ran. I was too scared. And I was like, I get it, but, like, why'd you try and make that jump? And he's like, hey, man, I almost made it. I was like, yeah, almost. And we both started laughing. But yeah, his mom wasn't kidding. He had a very long way of recovery ahead of him. He had to go to physical therapy, like, very frequently. He was in a wheelchair for quite a while after this. And he essentially had to relearn how to walk. Luckily, he did walk again. He wasn't walking very good at first, but eventually, after like a couple years of like, you know, therapy and walking again, he was able to get his step back and he was fine. But like, very serious injury, man. Very serious. It's not every day you can fall off a building and be like, yeah, I lived. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a skyscraper or anything, but it was still tall enough to where, like, if he landed any different way, like if it was on his head or, you know, on his spine, he could have been in a very different situation and it could have been way worse. Also, he got super lucky that the cop didn't go searching my friend after this happened and find that weed, because then, you know, he might have told his probation officer or whatever, and they might have drug tested him. By the way, when that drug test came, when they finally drug tested Parker, he passed. That one hit of weed, it didn't show up. Like, he did pass, so I guess his mistake of hitting the bull didn't, you know, come back to haunt him. However, I feel like he was owed some good karma after he fell off a building. But yeah, man, overall, just a crazy experience and wild thing to witness, and I'm happy he's okay. I'm proud to announce that he is good. Today, he is fine. But yeah, guys, moral of the story is, don't try and jump buildings like you're Spider-Man. Parker was very much not Spider-Man. Yeah, probably don't want to do any of the stuff I talked about in this story time to begin with. Yeah. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Take his 401k and I'll put it on my wrist.